my God, you're wearing flannel?
Are you retarded?
What's wrong with you?
It's not Flannel Friday.
Queer.
Who wears
my
open
God.
A-tags?
I can't even handle this.
Why are you named after
This is
cereal?
the dumbest thing I've
What
ever
the
seen.
Quaker?
Skinny jeans.
Doesn't matter, because I'm smarter than all of you. And then the sun would rise from the east and set in the west. Now, if you think about it, that means 2 + 2 = 4. Also, the atom is something you guys don't know about, but I'm studying, and soon it's going to be cool. And I'm going to make Quaker oatmeal famous because I'm a Quaker and I figured out the stuff about the atom too. Any questions?
After you left our class.
All right, class dismissed. Alex?
Oh, Dalton. What's up?
Oh.
Dalton, can you describe the sky for me?
Well, it's big and it's really blue.
Blue? My parents told me it was purple.
They told you wrong, buddy. It's blue. And there's clouds, but they look a different color today.
So they're not orange like they usually are?
Oh, they're kind of gray, actually. This is weird. I should research this. You understand me?
Hey, you don't have to talk to me like that. I'm blind, not...
You know, Alex, the other day I was doing this experiment, and I put nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen in methamphetamine gas form, and some smoke I found from a fire, and I put it all in this gas chamber.
Did it like layer on top of each other?
The weirdest thing happened. It mixed.
What?
And you know what? I was thinking to myself, and I was like, all matter consists of tiny particles. I mean, the existence of atoms was first suggested more than 2,000 years before I was alive. But they still remain pure speculation. But Newton argues that atoms were explained through gas laws. But I figured out that atoms are indestructible and unchangeable. They are an element that cannot be created, destroyed, or broken into smaller parts or transformed into atoms of another element. I base this hypothesis on the law of conservation of mass and on centuries of experimental evidence that I found. And with the discovery of the subatomic particles, my time is becoming apparent that atoms could be broken into smaller parts. The discovery of nuclear processes showed that it was even possible to transform atoms from one element into atoms of another. But we don't consider processes that affect the nucleus to be chemical processes.
That's crazy.
The postulate is still useful in explaining the law of conservation of mass in chemistry. The slightly more restrictive wording is atoms cannot be created, destroyed, or transformed into other atoms in a chemical change.
Dalton, you're so smart.
I have so much more. Elements are characterized by the mass of their atoms. I mean, all atoms have the same identical weights, I assert too. Atoms of different elements have different weights too.
Are you done yet?
No, more. I bet in the future people will know that atoms of the same element sometimes have slightly different masses, but always have identical nuclear change. In modern atomic theory, the postulate has been amended to read, elements are characterized by the nuclear change of their atoms. What? When the elements react, their atoms combine in simple whole number ratio, which explains why they didn't layer. You know what?
No, hey, can you answer my question for me?
What?
Will anyone ever love me?
Experimental atomic weights could then be used to explain the fixed mass percentages of elements and all compounds of those elements. By suggesting that compounds contain characteristics, atom-to-atom ratios, I effectively explained the law of definite proportion. When atoms react, their atoms sometimes combine in more than one simple whole number ratio. I use this postulate to explain why the weight ratios nitrogen to oxygen and various nitrogen oxides were themselves simple multiples of each other. My critics were impressed by the power and simplicity of my explanation, and it persuaded many of them that my atomic theory was worthy of further investigation.
No one ever loved me.
Because you're blind. As a result, my atomic weight for oxygen and nitrogen were incorrect, and my experimental data did not support many of the conclusions I drew from it. But a consistent set of atomic weights was absolutely essential before the theory could be accepted and applied. So now that people in the future, if they ever had that, they could make like a periodic table or something. I like to also like draw atoms and put their electrons and their protons near each other. That's what I do in my free time. And yeah, see ya, Alex.
I used to be like you, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
What does that have to do with anything? You're blind.